Have you tried training methods that just didn't work? Do you feel that your pet is not getting his or her nutritional needs met? Are illnesses and bad behavior your daily norm? You're going to want to join me on the Pet Parenting Reset, where you'll hear interesting and informative interviews and get solutions to all your pet problems. I'm your host, Jessica L. Fisher. Well, welcome back to the Pet Parenting Reset. Thank you, wonderful pet parents, for joining us again. I have the best guest for y'all today. These two ladies are cat advocates, social media influencers, bloggers, and content creators, and incredibly talented and beautiful at that. They offer a full line of natural supplements called Feline Essentials. I use them myself, so I can tell you they are wonderful, made to help treat and prevent many common health issues in cats. In 2015, motivated by the lack of available resources for natural feline health, Jay and Adrian dedicated their lives to learning and sharing all they can to help cats live the longest, healthiest, and happiest lives possible. They host regular live shows on social media, very regularly, to connect with cat parents and answer questions they have about their kitties, as well as sharing tips about cat health and happiness via blogs and videos. And by the way, viral TikTokers. Also worth mentioning, they always have a cocktail in hand. So I hope you join me in giving a warm welcome to the two crazy cat ladies, Jay and Adrian.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Jessica, thank you so much for having us. This is so fun.
We forgot our cocktails. I think
Yeah.
it's a little too early, so we're just drinking water.
I've got my water too, and my
Yeah,
little.
we gotta hydrate.
Oh,
Yes.
How cute is that?
I know. I found it at I want to say like Marshalls or TJ Maxx or something. And for you listening on the podcast, you can check the video out so you can see all of our fancy stuff. But yeah, so today we're talking about litter boxes, which I have recently found is like a new passion of mine. And y'all, a lady triggered me the other day. And I actually did my live on, it was this past Sunday, but it'll be like 2 weeks by the time this goes up. And she commented on one of my videos. It was like on how to get cat pee out of carpet. And she commented that if this didn't work, that she was giving her cat away. And I like freaked out, right? Because I'm sitting here going, first of all, I don't respond to messages the same day. Like I always wait a day because I need to calm down. But this lady triggered me so hard. So I waited and I wrote this huge blog post. And I was just like, first of all, no, you cannot put that on me. Like, I am not the reason that your cat does or does not leave your house. and anyway, and just this whole thing about you need to see your pet and blah, 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 blah. But anyway, so it triggered me. So I'm like on a litter box tangent now.
Well, it's one of the number one reasons why cats are returned to shelters, why cats are given away or just, sent out in the wild on their own, dropped off somewhere, is because of litter box issues, and it's what's sad is that we didn't always know this, but we've learned that there are so many things that we can do to help our cats use their litter box and, not go outside and not go on the carpet. But we have to put in that effort. We have to do something, like as cat parents, we have to address it, find the root.
My heart still hurts that someone was really going to return their cat for that issue. Like that is so heartbreaking to me that there is kind of a disconnect when we were just talking recently about how cats are kind of second-class citizens when it comes to the pet world, just from the whole, like everything's all about the dogs and all of this. And it's like, oh, if this little convenience companion starts misbehaving, then we're taking them back. Like, where is their family member status?
And honestly, like, where do you, like, how often do you hear about that with dogs? Like my dog pooped on my, I didn't take him out. It's my fault if my dog, poops on the floor because I didn't take him out or I didn't let him out. But with our cats, it's like, oh no, I can't handle that. I'm not going to have that. Like you don't return dogs for doing that.
Heartbreaking.
It's so sad. I know.
Well,
And that's how, like, even with people with their dog, it's like, it doesn't matter if it's your dog or if it's your cat. Like, I try to tell people all the time, whatever it is, come at the issue with empathy for your animal, like, period. And that completely shifts your mindset. So,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I think compassion is such a big deal. I think Dr. Mercy Koski helped us so much. Feeling Behavior Solutions helped us so much when we were going through this issue to understand that a cat's scent brings them comfort. So if we've ruled out an underlying health issue and this behavior is happening, then we need to understand that our cats are behaving in this way because they're uncomfortable or insecure about something, and that makes it so much easier to be compassionate and empathetic.
Well, and when you think about like empathy, I love this subject because when you think about empathy, it's like, and it just energy in general, the outcome of whatever it is that you're looking for is so much more pleasurable when you can shift your perspective, when you change the energy. And that has been with us and Pooh Bear, with all of his issues, we did all the stuff and things. We did all the stuff and things left and right, over and over. And I truly believe that when we decided to basically come at him from his perspective, really have that empathy toward him, that's when everything stopped. I mean, yeah, sure, all of those steps helped by far, but it was our energy and our empathy toward him and what he was going through that I think really changed our relationship with him, but it also changed his behaviors.
And you think about the stress. I mean, so many people respond or react. It's not a response. They react with frustration or anger or even punishment. Someone was communicating with us and said, I've tried everything. I whack them with the little paddle. I do. And it's like, oh my God.
That's today.
Oh my God, please. So and you think about back to a cat's scent bringing them comfort. They're trying so desperately to feel comfortable in the home that we ideally is their forever home with us. They're trying so hard to be comfortable and feel okay. So they're doing this, and then we react with some sort of anger or punishment. It's just heartbreaking. And so, shifting the energy and really recognizing, this is what's happened. I remember one time catching Pooh Bear in the act, and there's an instinctual like, no, like, not like yelling, but startling them. And it's like to just be quiet and let him finish and then handle the situation and start looking at it from how do we help this cat feel more welcome, more secure, more at home.
Yeah.
It can be hard. It can be hard for sure. So I thought we would start with, if somebody is just getting a new cat, maybe they've never had a cat before, what would the ideal litter box setup be?
Oh, exciting. Okay, so we're talking first cat, just one.
One cat.
Okay. So, gosh, there's so much.
But start with the going rule, and I think this is fascinating, and I've seen it happen. Most cats prefer to pee in one box and poop in another. And I watched Friday, our girl Friday, this morning, go into one litter box as soon as I was done cleaning it, by the way, and then get out and go in another litter box and poop. And I think it's kind of rare to see them do the number one and number two, so back to back. But so for if you have one cat, it's recommended to have 2 litter boxes. 2 cats, it's recommended to have 3 litter boxes. So always one more box than we have cats.
At least one more box than you have cats. At least one more box than we have cats.
Yeah. The size of the litter box is something that we recently learned a couple years ago, and it's fascinating. So Dr. Koski said we want a litter box to be a length and a half of our cat, from the tip of their nose to the base of their tail. And you think about how big that really is for so many cats. I mean, we're talking at least like 20 inches or so, more than that. And it needs to be wide enough for them to comfortably turn around. So
what's funny about that is that you go to Petco, you go to PetSmart, you go to any of these stores, Walmart even, you go to the litter box section, you won't find that. They don't even sell them that size. They sell them to, at basically be, friendly to the human, not to the cat, right? It's not really made for the cat. It's more made for the biggest person.
Litter box we could find when Pooh Bear came to be our baby boy was $45. and it was a little corner. It's the biggest one we could find. So it was probably a 16 by 16 corner kind of unit. That was the biggest one, and it was expensive. So we now use storage containers. We have Rubbermaid storage containers, the kind that and we use the ones with the tall walls. So we use like the 33 gallon. So they're about 30 some inches long. They're 16 inches wide. They're about another 16 inches tall because we've got the elevator piers. And we've got most of them are the clear ones right now too, because when we're talking about setting up a good litter box situation for our very first cat, getting everyone started off on the right paw, it's helpful to understand that potty time for a cat is a vulnerable time. It's just instinctively a vulnerable time for them. So when we can, that's why covered litter boxes, who knew that covered litter box is more for us than it is for them. A lot of cats have an aversion to a covered litter box because they feel a little entrapped. So the clear storage containers is what we use, and we put it in a convenient place, an easily accessible place for the cats, which may not always be convenient for us, but also one that's low traffic and they're not going to be startled while they're using the restroom by, the dryer turning on or, the water heater making weird noises or whatever it is. Yeah. So yeah, I think those are a couple of the.
Yeah. And we have the lower ones too. I think that the storage bins, let me just say, the storage bins are really the way to go for any cat parent. I don't care how many cats you have. Simply because they're so inexpensive, you pay probably $100 if that were if it were labeled a litter box, but at the department store like Walmart or Home Depot, or we get it at Lowe's.
Yeah, hardware stores. Lowe's
it's like $11. And so when it comes time to, oh gosh, this one's we probably need to switch out our litter boxes. You're not, paying your entire paycheck in new litter boxes. Instead, you're, just going down and grabbing some more, and you're not broke. So it's a win-win for everyone involved, for you and for your kitties.
Yeah. One little tidbit that we did learn along the way after we got our first round of litter totes, always look for the one that has the smoothest bottom. Some of them will have like wheels or all these like indentions, and that is a headache when it comes to school.
Yeah.
So look for one with a smooth bottom, and that's it's
we love the smooth bottoms.
For sure. I know. And regardless of what we're talking about, whether it's the box placement, the kind of litter we use, my rule of thumb is always your cat is the ultimate decision maker. It doesn't matter what you want. You can try everything in the world that you want to try, but your cat is the ultimate decision maker on what stays and what doesn't.
So
yes,
true.
It's so true. When people come at us like every day, all day long, every day asking what kind of litter should I use? And, we're just like, you want something that's safe for your cats, but you also want whatever your cat will use. So, we are currently using pine pellets, but we're looking for something that's affordable for, 7 large boxes. That's a little softer on the paws. We love the pine pellets. It doesn't track as much, and our cats use it. But some of our girls, especially, or both of our girls, especially, you can tell that they don't really enjoy the experience so much. So we're looking for a different type of litter, or to partner with a company that'll give us free litter or something.
Well, it's expensive. And I have tried nearly every litter out there. I will say, the ones that I think are better. I haven't used clay litters in many, many years. And I won't go back to them, but I have a quick little story. I was using coconut litter for a long time. I loved it. And the only issue I really had with it was that it still was dusty. And so everything turned brown. So I had to constantly dust and clean everything around the boxes. But when Riley went through his ordeal where he was getting blocked, and I didn't I may have been able to realize it was happening a little quicker, except that I couldn't tell with the brown litter that there was blood in his urine. So after that happened, I switched because I wanted something a lighter color. And I'm looking too, I have to be honest, because right now I'm using a grass litter, and I like it, but I have have questions in the back of my mind about, aflatoxins and things like that.
Right. Yeah.
Right. You can't help but wonder about those things, especially with some of this reports coming out about some of the corn litters that are out there.
Yeah.
Sure, maybe it's better than clay. I mean, I think back to, we used clay for years, and it was.
And we had a cat with asthma,
and
we just didn't know any better. We just, litter was litter. I don't even think there were that many options out there at the time for like others, but we didn't look for it. We didn't look for it. We didn't know any better, right?
No, but you think about how our cats will be ingesting, absorbing whatever litter that we're using. So yeah, it's something to be concerned about. Yeah. Aflatoxins are not a joke. And really trying to figure out the sourcing. And I know there's a lot of new novel litters out there. People are asking us about it all the time. And we've reached out to so many of these companies, and it's like, they won't tell us what the secret ingredients are, where it comes from, anything like that. So it's like, oh, I don't know. And I know we're helicopter moms. Absolutely. But you're right. I mean, what you said earlier, our cats are the ones that make the decision. Ultimately, if they're not going to use pine pellet litter, or they're not going to use the coconut litter, we used walnut litter for a while.
And it did the same thing. It stained everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we really want it to be something that they're comfortable with and that we feel is as safe as can be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting because the one that I feel like I would prefer to use, I have one box that I have a pellet litter in. That's the tea potty that I would love if my cats would use it, but I only have one cat that will use it. So I can only put it in one box. But the other one that I'm really interested in, it comes in cardboard boxes, and you're probably in the same situation I'm in, because I actually used that for a while, and I just don't have the trash space for all these cardboard boxes.
Yeah.
Because I did use it for a while, so now I know, and I'm like, that's a really good idea, but I can't. I just use too much of it.
Is it possible to recycle those?
Yes, I think so. They're pretty darn strong. And I do, we do cut our boxes down, but I have to tell you, we struggle. Like, I don't know how we do it because it's just me and my husband. But then when I look at it, it's me and my husband and our dog and all of our cats. And I'm like, every week the recycling is full and the trash is full, like full. So yeah. But so you mentioned a little bit about these like tote things, I don't want to say a name brand, but the like storage plastic boxes. So that's your setup, right? And you actually you cut an opening, and then you put tape, like a heavy duty tape around it to.
So I used to do that when I was doing it, because I didn't understand that there's a method that Adrian uses to make them a smooth cut. So mine was like really hard, and it was like they could scratch themselves. So I would put duct tape around the edges. But there is actually a way to do that. But before I tell you that, I think this is also a very important thing, especially for our senior kitties, is the easy access to the box, right? So we say we get the ones that are very tall, but we don't want to have to make our senior kitties, they would not even use the box if they had to jump over into the box, right? So you want to make sure that it's low, that the opening, that the door is low enough for them to easily walk in, where they don't have to, climb or jump into it. Because if your cat's sick, if your cat just has joint issues, if your cat, there's a number of different things that will prevent a cat from using the box if they don't have any easy access into the box.
And on that note, let me piggyback, because we're dealing with a couple of people it was as simple as that. It was as simple as getting a low entry box, and their cats started using the litter box again. But to that point as well, if you live in a 2-story home, make sure that you've got a litter box downstairs and upstairs. Don't just pick the places that are most convenient for us. A lot of people like to throw stuff in the laundry room, or put it in the mud room, or under this or over there. And I think that thinking about that ease of accessibility, not just the entrance itself into a lower box, but where it's at, and making sure that, especially with a 2-story home, that they've got access There are some times that I can't make it upstairs.
That one, yeah, that's true. That one was hard for me, honestly, because I'm more of a, like, we like to entertain. I know it's been a couple of years since we've really done a lot of that because of whatever, but the pandemic, but we always like to entertain. And so I like to keep, the downstairs where people come and hang out. I like to keep that pretty, just nice and clean and litter box free. But then realizing that, some of our cats don't want to have to go all the way upstairs. We have an 18-year-old now, and like he goes up and down the stairs fine. But what if he really has to go and he's downstairs and he has to hold it all the way up? And then, so I gave in, and we have litter boxes downstairs too.
Correct. Now to get the totes, the entry to the tote nice and smooth, you actually with the plastic totes that we have, they're kind of thick, and if you were to like try to cut them with a box cutter or whatever, they will splinter. So you get a heat gun or a hair dryer will even work. It takes a little bit longer with a hair dryer, but you heat up that area, and then it's like cutting butter. I mean, you heat it up, and you may want to put gloves on, because I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then I grabbed the side of it because the heat tray, so put on a pair of loaded gloves to do this, but because it does get very hot. But then you can use a box cutter or even scissors, and it's like butter. So it's a nice smooth cut. And I recommend kind of outlining where you're going to make your door with the totes. Depending on where their placement is, sometimes you'll make the door on the side of the tote, right? Or sometimes you'll make it on the front of the tote. So you just want to kind of think that through, where you want to put the entrance, and make a little outline. I know I went a little low on the entries of our last batch of totes. So just make a little outline to help you out that.
I love that, and I think you might need your own DIY channel.
That'd be fun. We need to do a whole.
We were talking about doing a hat tip on it, actually. Yeah. But we need to go, we're not at the point yet. I think probably a month or so away, though, of switching going to the store, switching it all out. So getting a new one and then taking them through versus going to get another one just for a cat tip.
Well, and to that point, most litter boxes, totes, whatever you're using are plastic. And unless you line them and change that lining all the time, you really do want to switch those out. I know some people say every 6 months. We're doing the year because we've got so many of them, but because they really do leach so much bacteria and odor as well. So then you think about your cats going into these litter boxes, even if they are freshly scooped, they've got 200 million scent sensors. Yeah. So it can really,
they can smell things that we cannot.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, that actually is a pretty good segue into what I was going to mention about, their scent is comforting to them, but there's a fine line, because as you were talking about earlier, that a lot of cats don't like covered litter boxes. They probably also don't like their litter boxes in a closet or a bathroom, even if you have the door shut, or under the stairs. Like, I see people try to do that all the time, and it's like that's trapping in the odor. And so there's a very fine line between they want their scent for comfort and that box just smells too bad.
Well, and especially if you have, multiple cats, because their scent is comforting. But if you have, which is another reason why you want at least one more box than you have cats, because somebody else's scent might not be comforting to them, if they're smelling it. I mean, it's like going into a porta potty, right? Like, it's just, I would prefer to use a bush, or a cactus for that matter, then
wow.
It's so disgusting. Like, I could gag just thinking about it. But I'm talking about a dirty one where it's not been cleaned, and there's just tons of people that have been going after the other. You have to hold your breath if you're gonna use one, right? Because it smells so bad. And imagine what that smells like to a cat.
Well, and I want to piggyback on top of that, and just
you're doing a lot of piggybacking.
I love to piggyback. It really also speaks to the point that routine is so important for our cats, and scooping litter it's one of the most, when we put it on a routine, which just kind of started as what worked with our schedule, right? So we do it every morning, all the boxes. But when you do that, it was remarkable to me that our big boys especially will sit there and wait for me to finish scooping the litter. And then they go in and they use the litter. And I notice now most of our cats either use the restroom right before breakfast, because she's making breakfast while I'm scooping the litter. So it's nice to have a little tag team on that. And then as I'm finishing up the boxes, they're getting done with breakfast or whatever, and they're using the fresh boxes. So sometimes I can go right back behind them and grab that first deposit, if you will. And I love that we can keep it extra clean, but it's become part of the routine so that they know this is when it's going to be clean. I don't know if they're actually, hey, angel face. I don't know if they're actually like holding it. It seems like the big boys are, but when it comes to their scent, when it comes to routine, just putting it on a routine, you really get to see and paying attention to your cat's bodily functions. It's remarkable to see how they look forward to it.
Yeah,
very much.
Well, and honestly, I mean, even now, sometimes, like, say we sleep in on the weekends.
How dare we?
And the like even Pooh Bear will sometimes come down and poop in front of the front door, and that's like his, listen, guys, you didn't scoop the litter on time, so this is what I'm going to do as like, not a bad behavior, but like hey, I'm going to do this. And I'm going to tell you that it's because you didn't scoop the litter on time.
Well, I don't think he's being vindictive.
No,
really,
it's not vindictive. No.
Jay's like, I would poop.
But it's always right in front of the front door. And he's always like, that's where he will go if there's like a change in schedule.
Right. But that's his spot to feel comfortable about.
Luckily, he has really healthy poop, so it's not difficult.
Yeah, no, it is really interesting, all of their different behaviors, because I have had cats over the years who they have like the one particular box, that's the only one they want to use, and they want it clean to use it. So, and I'm very fortunate that I work at home. So I am very meticulous about the litter boxes. I do very much what you do. I get up and feeding them is the first thing I do. And then while they're eating, I clean. And then within the hour, pretty much everybody uses the box again and I clean again. And I've noticed because right now I only have 4. So it's a lot less. I mean, I was surprised. It's significantly less work. But yeah, they're very much like, and I've probably trained them a little bit into this, but if I see that there's something in a box, I'm stopping what I'm doing and I'm cleaning it. And that's not just for them, but also for me, because I don't want to see it or smell it. Right?
Yeah.
True. Yeah. But the cats are so clean. I think it's one of these things that we can do to just be respectful of our cats. Like, let's give them a good, clean place to do their business, feel comfortable. It's already a vulnerable time for them. Like, it's not too difficult. I will confess, back in the day, I think we scooped litter, and we're talking 25 years ago, but I think we scooped litter once a week. Even
10 years ago, it was once a week when we were in the first house that we moved into Vegas. Because I remember I did it and I scooped it every Thursday. There were 2 boxes and 5 cats, clay litter, and I scooped it every Thursday. I can't even imagine what our poor babies were going through, and I never even thought about it. Never even, and they didn't go outside the box. Like, we didn't have issues with those kitties, but it was like.
But that brings up another topic, which I think is so helpful when we're trying to help people through this issue as well, is that cats can become intolerant of something that is just not optimal for them. Right. When, I think back to when we lived on Hilversson, and I made a plywood box that we painted to make look convenient for us, that went in Jay's office, and it was wide enough for 2 litter boxes in there, and they could walk in front of them and get in, but it was a covered box. So you lifted it up, you cleaned out the litter boxes. So it was like, I think about it now, what a dungeon. Talk about what it must have smelled like, and being scooped once a week. And we had 5 cats at the time. What is wrong with us?
Yeah.
But it's possible for cats to become intolerant of something. Like, our cats tolerated that
just like they're tolerating the pine pellet litter right now.
Right.
But
then it can just be like, nope, today's my last day. I am done with this.
Yeah.
So I think it's such a valuable conversation to have, to think about what is the optimal litter situation for cats, and really trying to start off on the right foot with that, because, especially when cats are tolerating something for an extended amount of time and then things change, it's even more frustrating for us, or confusing for us, because they've been using this dungeon cave cabinet we made to
hide the litter boxes from us and company, is what we did.
Right.
Yeah. It's sad.
I mean, y'all are just giving more and more reasons as to why Adrienne needs a DIY channel. She's now building boxes. I mean, I
don't recommend that part, though. Build a box for something else. It's great, though. It was awesome. No, I can't believe it, though. I mean, thinking back, I literally had forgotten about that.
I did too.
And I feel it in my chest. Like, what? Our poor babies, what did we make them go through?
Yeah. And before that, it was in the closet in my office, and we had shelves, the little industrial shelves that you get from the hardware store, and there was one on the bottom and one on the top, so they had to jump up to get into the probably
other box.
And
we
one
had
of the
3 boxes at that point.
Did we?
Yeah, we had 2 on the bottom, and then we had one on the
shelf. And
it
was just shoved in a closet, not like a walk-in closet, one of those, just a coat closet, basically. And gosh, yeah, it's sad
to think about.
It's sad to think about.
It is, isn't it? Anything you think back on, it's like, oh, you like cringe at your older or your younger self, and you're like, how did you do this?
I know.
I know.
Another tip that that really worked for us when it comes to cats going outside the box. Now, obviously, I don't think we've addressed yet that if your cat suddenly starts going outside the box, we want to check their health first, right? Like, that's number one. If they suddenly start going outside the box, whether it's pee or poop, it can be a sign to you as the cat parent that there is something medically wrong. So that's the first thing we always want to rule out. But if we know for sure that this is a behavioral thing, and you've gone through all the steps, you have the extra litter boxes, you're doing all the stuff and things, and your cat's still going outside the box, what we found with Pooh Bear was when we went and got that new box, and we would just get a whole new box for him, a tote. I don't know. Is that really the word? I feel like that's an English
Robin
word.
Calls it tote.
It's a tote. But a storage bin is what I got.
Yeah.
But we got a new storage bin, and then we brought it home and we put the litter in it, and we brought it, and we had to do this twice. We brought it directly to Pooh Bear, the problematic cat, not problematic, but the one that was going outside the box, right? Brought it directly to him and let him go in and use it first. And that, because like Adrienne said, their scent is so important to them, that stopped him from going outside the box, because he had his own. Even though the other cats are going to use it afterwards, he was able to mark it first. So that was like his box. So he felt comfortable being like, okay, I've got my own box.
Yeah. Like there was a sense of ownership. I mean, a palpable sense of ownership that you could feel from him. And he's always been, he was the aggressive cat. He's got a number of health issues. He's had all to say, really trying our best to understand why our cats are doing stuff from their perspective and from their personality. It's crazy to see how much things can change. And with Pooh Bear, I'm telling you, it's like, it's so happy that he had his own box. This is amazing. Yeah. So that's something that really did help. And we've heard that it has helped for a number of people. I mean, it's like, you've tried everything, try this.
Yeah.
And it's worked for more than just us.
That's wonderful. I love that. I actually haven't tried that particular thing. I do have, so Romeo is my problem child, and he has this one box, and it's the smallest box I have, and I have tried multiple times to replace it because it's, I do replace mine every year because they're plastic, right? And he will not use another box. Like, that is his box. And so I reluctantly have to keep, I'm like, I just do my best to keep it clean, but yeah, like that's his box. So
there's something psychological.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's also, we have to think that every cat is different. You know, all of our cats have different personalities, just like humans. What I prefer is probably not what you prefer, you know, like we all have different preferences. Even the covered boxes, like some cats actually do prefer a covered box, and I've talked to people that are like, could not get my cat to use the box, had so many problems, bought one with a cover, and they use it all the time. So, you know, it really just depends on the cat too. And especially for Romeo, I would absolutely keep the box if I were you, if that is his box and that's what he's chosen as his, you know?
Yeah. And it's so interesting because like you were saying, it is like you have to go through all the steps, and it always starts with getting to the vet, because you never know. It could be something, you know, arthritis, or it could be something worse that we don't want to even think about. Or it could, you know, a urinary tract infection, or, you know, and our boys especially get crystals, and that can be uncomfortable. And cats will associate pain not with what's going on in their body, but whatever may be around them, which could be the litter box if they're experiencing pain when they're trying to go. And so that can be an issue. And so always going to the vet first, but then, you know, ruling all of that out, there are other things. There are things that could be going on around the house that are stressing your cat, like a new person, or somebody leaving, or a baby, or getting new furniture, or right? Like there's just so much that could be going on with your cat, because they are much more sensitive than we like to think they are. Right?
I think that first of all, I keep thinking about the medical thing. I think people do need to recognize that urinary tract issues, it can become very, very serious, very, very fast. So this is why it is so important. And not just, you know, if you notice something, but I think the proactive part of it too, paying attention to, you know, like you were just saying, it could be all these things. You're going to have to bleep me, but my shirt that says Cat Shit Crazy on it. Okay. I love making sure that everyone's using the restroom. I want to know how many times a healthy cat should be peeing, if they're properly hydrated, what should their poops look like, and how often should they be pooping, and all of that. And then I want to make sure that at some point, it's not going to be every day, but at some point, at least during a week, I am seeing each one of our cats pee, and I'm seeing each one of our cats poop, so I can make sure that there's no straining going on, that it's not uncomfortable, that there's no. Jack likes to announce when he's about to go to the bathroom. He does. But, right, and it's like, oh, I can go watch him. Totally awkward. I get it, but I can imagine someone coming in and being like, "Are you straining? Are you feeling all right? How's it? It's coming out okay?" No. Awkward. But I think it's so important, because then it makes it easier when there is a change for us to be like, oh, it started here, when we're paying attention as it goes. And I think because cats are so much smarter than we give them credit for, when we do have a planned change coming up, like we just recently took a trip, or back when we got a new piece of furniture, that we communicate that to our cats. Like, hey guys, this is going to be something new. You know, don't just surprise. I mean, yeah, it's going to be a surprise when something new comes in, but like we do the scent swapping out in the garage before we bring stuff in, to help them be like, oh, I think this smells a little familiar, but it's also new and exciting, interesting. So that we're just acknowledging whatever change is going on, or people coming over as, hey, we see you, and yes, this is happening. Are you guys good? You know, paying attention to them a little bit more, and being able to catch a change in their behavior more easily and probably faster when we are tuned in.
Yeah. And stress, like you said, it could be something, you know, that's stress induced, right? Like new this or new that, or, you know, changing the homes or changing the environment. And it's really good to be able to pinpoint when that stressor started, instead of, you know, being like, what could have happened? I don't think anything changed, but some things, you know, like maybe something did, maybe it was small and not big to us, but if we're paying attention to our cats, then we'll be able to, you know, see when that behavior started, and then be able to hopefully be able to better pinpoint the cause and get to the root of the matter. I mean, when it comes to cystitis, for instance, 75+% of the time when cats deal with reoccurring urinary infections, it is due to stress. And that's the scientific studies. And so it's like, we continue, and we talk to people all the time. They continue to go back to the vet. They continue to go through rounds and rounds of antibiotics, treating the symptoms. But the problem keeps coming back because we're not getting to the root of the matter. And, stress can cause our cats to go outside the box behaviorally, but oftentimes it can cause them to, it can trigger a urinary tract issue, which then causes them to go outside the box. So, getting to back to the energy in the home, getting back to the, positive vibes and positive energy really goes a long way in stopping the behavior and helping your cat, understanding your cat.
Yeah. And don't give up. Like, I just always want to say that, don't give up on your cat, because there is always something else we can do. I feel like this year, especially, I have found so many new things for my cats, especially trying to deal with Romeo. And I have gotten to the point where, like, at this moment, I feel like I've done everything I can, including, all the woo-woo animal communicators, everything. And the best thing I know to do for him at this moment is that he gets a special treat every time he uses the litter box. Yeah. And it is working. Like, wow. He knows and he'll do it over and over again. He knows when he goes in the litter box and he pees, he gets a special treat. So he makes a point to go multiple times in front of me every single day. And I'm just, that is what it is. Like, okay, you get special treats. Now that's how it is.
That's so amazing, though. That's wonderful that, and people don't think that we can train our cats, but we can. And we can do that with a bunch of different things. But for litter box, like, you finally got to the root of it. You've gone through all the stuff and things, and you did all the stuff and things. And it's really like, I just want to be rewarded for my good behavior, Mom.
Yeah, I actually don't know. It's so much that, but it's working enough.
I love that. And I think too, I know you mentioned going through all the stuff and things, even the woo-woo wonderfulness that's out there, and incredible tools to have in our toolbox. Feline behaviorists, I think, are really, I feel like I'm saying it a lot lately, but I really do believe this, are some of the most underutilized resources for all cat parents, especially when we're dealing with something like this, and not just the litter box issues, but like aggression or hiding or all these things. And I think that they can provide such individualized care for our cats and really kind of evaluate, the holistic situation, not just, well, what is their medical history and what's going on here? Do we have an issue with the cystitis that's happening? Or, what is the environment like? What's new in your home? When did you move? Right. Are there any new stray cats outside? That's something that can trigger a lot of cats, and kind of narrow it down. Like, is this behavioral? Is it neurological? Is this an underlying health issue that needs more help kind of pinpointing? I think that, feline behaviorists really have that gift of, especially when it's more individualized. We have a lot of like cookie cutter things. Oh, try the litter box, try changing this, do the routine. Let's do confidence building sessions. Let's do, try this. And I think that feline behaviorists have that beautiful gift of being able to really kind of tap into that cat's personality, their history, more in a far more individualized way. Right. And sometimes that can be a real game changer as well.
Yeah, especially for those that just don't necessarily feel that connection with their cats, and a lot of people don't, like a lot of people they don't have that. We didn't for so long. We didn't have like a deep relationship with all of our cats, understanding how they work and what they like and things like that. We weren't always the cat parents that we weren't. You say we that paid that close attention to our cats. We didn't scoop their litter but once a week. We didn't pay that close of attention to our cats, and so I understand. People that are just. You're going from say, oh, I'm learning that my cat's not just a convenience pet or just a second-class citizen that lays and sleeps on my couch all day and is really cute and sometimes snuggles me when I'm on the couch or in the bed. That's kind of where a lot of us start as cat parents, is we think that that's what a cat does. We give them a litter box, we give them food and water. Like
literally, someone said to us once when we were kind of going into this, like the psychology of some cat, because there seems to be what I was saying. Don't say we. I'm saying
use your words.
Having a family member connection. You know what I mean? Like there is that kind of communication love. But someone actually said, we were talking and said, "Oh, do you have any pets?" And they said no. And they're like, "Oh no, actually I have a cat. I just have that because I wanted something to come home to." Yeah. I just have that because I wanted something.
That makes me so sad.
And it's like, and then you understand why people get so upset when this cute little like, oh, hey, and starts doing something that's inconvenient for them. Yeah. It's heartbreaking. But these little beings, they're not, it's like Dr. Koski says, they're not little dogs. They aren't going to come running up to you with their tails wagging every time you walk in the door. And, they're completely different species with so many other needs and brilliant things about them and beautiful beings. I mean, they're just, Madison is here distracting me just because she's so sleeping. My God. But
it's so funny because it's like on one hand, they are so incredible. I mean, there are different species altogether from dogs, right? So they are so incredibly different. But on the other hand, like there's a part of me that's like, I want people to look at them similarly just so that they treat them with as much respect and care and empathy that they do their dogs, because it's a thing. Like it's a thing for especially raw feeders with their dogs. Like we just all post pictures of their dog's poop online all the time. It's a thing. You know what I mean? And I'm over here like, I'm paying just as much attention to my cat's poop, but I can't post that online.
Then you would be weird.
Because then you're weird. Right. Yeah. Right. We were just talking to somebody else on a podcast yesterday about exactly this, that, people like second-class citizens, like we want people to respect their cats as much as they respect their dogs. We want to show the world that it's okay to have more than one cat and you don't have to be considered crazy. Like you can enjoy and love your cats as pets, as companion animals, just as you would with your dogs. Or anybody would with their dogs, right? And we love dogs too, but we do believe that cats deserve the same respect and they deserve the same place in your heart and in your home that any other companion animal should.
That level of engagement, though, like you said, you kind of wish that people did look more at their cats like they do at dogs. And I think that's the engagement factor, because cats have this stereotype of being very aloof and very independent, and I'm begone, human. I want nothing to do with you, right? But we give them these personalities of what we think someone who's acting the way that they are would be. And cats aren't vindictive. They don't revenge pee. They don't, they're purists, really, but they don't express or accept emotions or love or attention in the same way that dogs do, or the same way that people do. And that's one of the biggest, most fundamental things to understand about cats, so that we can better earn their trust and we can learn how they want to be loved. And to this day, Jessica, can I just say, I want so bad. We see all these videos of these cute cats that are like snuggle butt, and they get to like love being carried around or put in a little pouch in a sweatshirt, or they love it all in adventures. And we're lucky if we've got a cat that wants to sit on our lap, and none of them really like to be picked up. Oliver Twist likes a good
Same.
But that's really more, that is why cats have that stereotype to a certain degree, right? They're so darn cute and snuggly, and yet they're also like,
but only when they want to be,
right? Because
not when we want them to be.
They're also prey. Their instinct is, wow, this huge thing just came and picked me up. Like, I'm feeling a little nervous about that, right? Like, understanding our cat's world from their perspective, I think, helps us better earn their trust and earn their love.
Yeah. And, I was always that person that thought for a very long time that cats were just easier pets than dogs. I would tell anybody who asks, dogs are easier than cats.
Yeah. I wrote a blog on that.
Yeah. I mean, dogs are easier than cats. And we don't we don't pay enough attention to our cats to even realize that they're so, I feel like so, and our dogs are very complex, don't get me wrong, but I feel like our cats are even more so complex.
Yeah. Well, and they're also very stoic, right? I mean, if a dog, if the dog steps on breaks a toenail or something, he's going to cry like the sweet, she's going to come up to you, and you're going to know if your dog is in pain or if there's, little things. Usually, I get that there's, certain things that you don't catch, but for the most part, if your dog's expressive. Whereas cats are very stoic by nature because they're not just predators, but they're also prey. So by nature, they mask their pain. They mask their stress. Sometimes they mask, all the things that their fear, even, they can mask that. And so for cat parents, that's why it's like they are much more complex because you have to really pay attention to them. They're not going to come and tell you A, B, or C. You have to, really pay close attention in order to catch things. And you have to be a little bit more proactive.
Well, and I think it helps when people do understand this. I remember talking to someone else again and being like, I don't know what to do with my cat. And they were using like frustrated language. Anytime I come near her, this vicious little blank hisses at me. And she's just been a terror since, and it's like, hissing is a defensive behavior. Whatever it is that's going on, like she's not vicious. She is afraid. She is fearful of something. There is, and it's the same with people too, to a certain degree. The more vicious they are, you do something.
No, I can hiss.
Understanding that there's some of these behaviors are masking their fear as being trying to, what we think of as what we now know is fear. Other people will be like, this is a vicious little cat. Like this is a hellion. What a terror. Like, I don't even know how I let this animal into my house. It's like, they're afraid. What are we doing? And that response obviously being like, oh, really? Shh, right back at you. Like some of the things that people do as a reaction to a cat's, what is a pure reaction to feeling insecure or afraid or whatever it is. It just heightens the situation and causes more behavioral issues. So, back to that compassion and empathy and recognizing it's our responsibility to do our best to better understand them. It's like when we were talking to someone else, it's like everyone loves their dogs. They're bringing their dogs home. They know what they need, whatever. When people get cats, it's like they do think of them as a small dog. They get a litter box and some food and they're good to go. And they don't realize, instead of like looking at, well, like if you were getting a rabbit or a gerbil, then you want to be like, well, what is their diet like? And what kind of environment do they need? And what kind of things, how do they drink water? And
you buy books on it and you watch videos on it.
Right. And we don't do that with our cats. And I think that it's so exciting that more and more people are being curious about them.
Yeah.
I do too. I always tell all of my dog training clients that your dog is doing the best they can with the tools they have to get their needs met. And I feel like it's the exact same thing with our cats.
Say that again. That's so true.
Your pet is doing the best they can with the tools they have to get their needs met.
Yep.
I love that.
Yep. I love that too.
So it's our responsibility to give them more tools in their toolbox. Like that's how we do. So
love that.
I love that.
I'm putting that one in my pocket, girl.
Yep.
I love that. That's so good.
Well, y'all, I cannot thank you enough for joining me today. I have a very special surprise that I'm going to share with everybody in just a moment, but I want you to tell everybody because you have an amazing line of products and y'all are just killing it on social media. So tell everybody how they can find you.
Where can you not find us? So our website is twocrazycatladies.com. That's TWO crazycatladies.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at the Two Crazy Cat Ladies with our little cartoon heads. We've got a blog. We've got a podcast called Back in the Closet with the Two Crazy Cat Ladies.
We do have a page now for our Feeling Essential on Instagram now. But we're working on that.
Yes. Yeah. So you guys can contact us anywhere, really.
Yeah. And we do
the Feline Essentials brand is amazing. I love it because I am always looking for more holistic ways to help my cats, and these just fit right in.
It's definitely another tool that every cat parent should have in their toolbox.
Yeah.
We are
we are blessed to be working with really the best formulator, I think, ever, who's also a cat rescuer.
And a holistic animal scientist.
Right. And his two sons who are also doctors. It's incredible though, because it is something that people don't realize, that supplements, we know the power of supplementation, but there's not a lot out there for just cats. So we feel so blessed to be like, we're doing this, and there is so much that we can do to help. And it's very exciting. Very exciting.
It is. Thank you all so much. So I have been the month of November, just launched a new merch store, and I saved this one for today because my new design that I want everybody to go see today, go to thepetparentingreset.com and click on merch, is play with your cat.
Play with your cat. Oh my gosh, I love that. I need it.
Jessica, we're going shopping.
Awesome.
We gotta go shopping.
Are you designing all these?
Yes.
Wow.
You are
amazing.
So there are 3 designs right now. I'm working on some more, but just in time for holiday shopping.
That's brilliant.
Perfect. Yes.
Okay, so we are going shopping.
Yay. Congratulations.
Yes.
I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so important. Like, I mean, I have one, I think I already showed it, play with your dog. And so I have play with your cat, because it's so incredibly important. I feel like even the best of the best cat parents often just, I mean, we get busy. I get it. But like, it's necessary every day. Play with your cat.
Yes, it's so important. It's one of those things that, even talking litter box, issues, like really staying engaged with your cats. I mean, when it comes to our cats specifically, because they're meant to be outdoors, but we want them to live the long and healthy and happy lives that they deserve. So we can do the health, and we can do the longevity through diet and supplementation and all those things, but they need to be happy too. And that plays into longevity of life as well, that mental stimulation. So, when we can find them in our 4 walls, they basically give up some of their, feline instincts, their feline behaviors, and that's sad for them. So us engaging with them and playing with them on a regular basis, preferably a scheduled basis, is really good for their overall health and well-being.
Yeah, so incredibly important. And like I said, again, it's another one of those things that is just like on autopilot for dog parents and not so much for cat parents.
When we all know that exercise, getting those endorphins going, not only is it a great natural detox, but it is a de-stressor. Yep. It is hard to be.
It's the cheapest way to reduce stress in both humans, and dogs, and cats.
Causes so much disease. So you think about putting that on a routine, and we're blessed to have some help when it comes to playing with our cats, because Lindsay will come over and wear them out. But it's remarkable, and to see how much cats really do want to engage. A lot of people be like, my cat doesn't want to play. When you really give them the invitation, they do want to play. Dr. Marcy Koski always says, if your cat says they don't want to play, they are lying. It's part of who they are. You have to bring it out. You have to bring it out. And it's amazing to see how much they really do want to engage.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. Again, I can't even tell you how thrilled I am to have had you on the show today. And if you have a moment after I hit end, or after I stop recording, there was one thing that I wanted to talk to you. And for all of you listening, you will hear about it soon enough. But make sure you're following the podcast. Make sure you are following the 2 Crazy Cat Ladies, because I feel like they're going to be on this too. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and end today's show. Thank you all so much for joining us. Make sure to give the podcast a follow and a review, as well as the 2 Crazy Cat Ladies. They're back in the closet podcast. Go check that out as well, and give it a follow and a review on anywhere, all the major podcast networks, wherever you get your podcast. So y'all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. Make sure to give your dog and cat some extra love from me and Jay and Adrian this week. And I'll talk to you next week.